Jenna from the Intern Hustle here, and I'm back with another inspirational interview. I have a 2020 college graduate to introduce you to. He had 10 internships in college, and by working hard and adding value, he was able to convert one of those internships into a full-time job offer before he even graduated. Landon Campbell is a 2020 graduate of DePaul University in Chicago. He maximized his college experience by jumping in and getting involved on campus right from the start. From managing a social media campaign to advocate for change, to becoming vice president of student government, Landon did a lot to leave DePaul University even better than he found it. He also went from zero experience on his resume, a reality many students can relate to securing 10 internships in college. One of those companies recognized the value that Landon brought to the table, and he secured a full-time job offer before the job market flipped upside down as a result of COVID-19. As a communications major, Landon also has a gift for storytelling. He recently co-founded an interview show called In Their 20's to share the inspiring stories of influential people and what they did in their 20's. In this interview, I chat with Landon about his campus involvement, internship experience, tactics for handling rejection, and how having a plan in college gave him freedom to diversify his experience and pursue opportunities with intention. Check the links in the description below to stay in the loop with Landon and get the latest interviews from In Their 20's. Hit that like button if you're ready to dive into this interview with Landon, and don't forget to subscribe for new videos every single week on this channel. Landon and I would love to hear from you in the comments. Be sure to let us know what your biggest takeaways are after watching this interview. Hey there, I'm Jenna Ryan from the internhustle.com, and this is Initiative Muscle Monday, helping you to start each week with an intentional step toward a successful future. Let's do this. Hi, Landon. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Of course. Really looking forward to it.
So I want to start off by just saying congratulations. I know you are a recent graduate, 2020 graduate from DePaul University in Chicago. So congratulations to you. And just to give people a little bit of your background, can you start by explaining how you chose DePaul to attend college there and what you studied while you were there as well?
Of course. Well, first off, thank you for acknowledging that. It was a long 4 years, but I loved it, and I would have repeated it. I mean, if I could. I mean, it was an amazing 4 years, and I'm glad that I'm still in the city of Chicago. So pretty much back in high school, I was heavily involved in theater. So upon my college search, I was looking for theater schools across the country. And DePaul came up on that list because DePaul has a stellar theater program focused in musical theater, directing, acting. So I really thought this was going to be my thing. And right before I came on to day one at DePaul University, I kind of had this quarter life crisis and decided that I wanted to step away from theater in pursuit of a different industry where I could take the skills that I had from theater and apply them elsewhere. So this really, took accountability on my end because I really had to break down what skills I gained from theater. And in looking at it in a broad view, I took away public speaking, communication, collaboration, project management. So I felt that I would be best equipped for a major in public relations and advertising with a minor in marketing to really see the full funnel of communication.
That's great. And you are from the Bay Area originally, right? So coming all the way to Chicago, what was that experience like for you?
It was crazy. I mean, I knew no one in Chicago. I had no family. I had no friends in Chicago, no network. I was 2,000 miles away from home and had so much curiosity, so many questions, because it's not like, I was moving to what you would consider, a typical college town. I mean, no, this is the city of Chicago. This is one of the most, largest metropolitan cities in the country. And, of course, when I moved here, it was overwhelming at times, but that really just gave me the passion to figure out the city and answer all of my questions.
That's great. And I can very much relate. I actually grew up in the Midwest, Chicago suburbs, went to school in the Midwest, and then I moved to the San Francisco Bay Area. So we swapped locations and started my job out there knowing nobody and learning a new city and all of that. So I can very much relate to that. And I think it's great that you took that leap. I think it's one of the beautiful things about college is that you learn so much about yourself, but stepping into that in a huge city like Chicago and really getting to explore and kind of find your own path, I think that's a really cool thing that you did.
Yeah, thank you. It was amazing.
So I know you were also very involved while you were in college, lots of different things you did, but one of them that stands out to me is that you were the vice president of student government.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that experience? Maybe for a student who's watching who is considering getting into student government at their own school, what that was like for you and an accomplishment that you're most proud of during your time on student government.
Of course. I'll begin by saying highly recommend it. Get involved on campus where you can, when you can. It feels really good just to add another just add that student involvement. You learn so much. You work with amazing people. But yeah, I mean, I got involved on campus right when I moved to Chicago for two reasons. Again, I knew no one, and I really wanted to, build the relationships, build friends. But then also, I noticed a problem on our campus, and when I moved freshman year at DePaul, we had a big problem with sexual assault on campus, and that was an issue that I really wanted to spread awareness of. So I helped develop a social media campaign called Not on My Campus DePaul. We mirrored this campaign off of what other schools in the country were doing, just to spread awareness of sexual assault prevention and awareness of just the subject itself. That was an opportunity for me to take the skills I had in social media and really empower and educate students and my peers, and then also learn so much about it myself. But it wasn't until my junior year that I got involved with the Student Government Association, and that was as the senator for the College of Communication. I was at a point in my college career where I had so many internships. I really valued experiential learning, and I wanted to really, again, bring awareness to internships, bring awareness to different clubs and organizations on campus. So that's what I did in the role of the senator for the College of Communication. I worked hand in hand with our dean. It was an amazing experience, and I just really loved the connections I made in the Student Government Association. We called it SGA. And going into my senior year, decided that I would want to run for vice president of the entire student body. And I ran with Giselle, who was my running mate, our president. Actually just got reelected to be president again. She's amazing. And we had certain goals going into the year. And one of our big ones was getting free menstrual products across all women's and non-gender bathrooms on campus. And we ended up accomplishing that very, very soon after getting elected, starting the school year. So that was a great way to begin, my term as vice president, because after that, we were just, even more motivated to make wonderful and positive changes on campus.
That's great. It sounds like you had such a tremendous impact across all the things that you did, as senator and vice president, and just getting to work with the dean like you did, which,
Yes.
I mean, not many students can say that they got to work hand in hand with the dean when they were in school. So a very cool opportunity you had. And you mentioned that you also had a lot of internships while you were in college. And this is the intern hustle. So we're going to talk about internships a little bit. Can you tell me exactly how many internships did you have? And if we take it like all the way back to the beginning with internship number one, how did you secure that very first internship?
Of course. So I had 10 internships while in college, 10 corporate internships, 9 paid, 1 unpaid. And I also did freelance work while in college. And a lot of people look at the 10 internships I've had and, they're amazed or they're interested in learning, more about it. But when I really break it down and look at it, I mean, yes, I had 10 internships, but those were also 500 no's. I spent so much time applying, getting rejection letters, but you just really need to remain resilient. I mean, you need to show that persistence and, apply, and really get your foot in the door. Because once you get the one, you're able to do so much and have so much opportunities. But, for me, again, I had no resume. I might as well have just had Landon Campbell on a piece of paper because I had nothing underneath it to show for. So when you're applying to internships in various job boards, what are you supposed to submit? I mean, it's really hard to, get seen and, get the recognition to just get the foot in the door and just get the first one.
Right.
So after applying and through the job boards, and I would even go on different websites and, extract the emails of the HR rep or recruiter. I would send like a 2-page blurb about myself, and then I noticed, okay, maybe that's a little too long too. So, I mean, I had to condense it. But I mean, I tried so many different ways to get into the door. Finally got lucky. Winter quarter, so second quarter of college for me, found a social media internship where I got to work with their marketing team. And it was amazing. It was an unpaid internship. I don't necessarily agree with unpaid internships, but I really credit a lot of what I was able to do in college to this first internship. They gave me a chance. And then after this, I had something to put on my resume, which made the process just flow a little better for the next ones.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I love, a few things that you said. One, rejection happens, and you talked about that. Yes, you had 10 internships in college, but you also went through a lot of rejection and you had to try a lot of different things out to figure it out. And then I like to say a lot, persistence and patience. It's a balance, right? You need to be persistent, but you also have to have patience in this process there's a lot of people going after the same internships. And so it sounds like you did a good job, finding different ways in the door, like you said, to get in for that first one. And, you said you don't really believe in unpaid internships, but I will say that you even backed that up by saying it was a great thing for you to be able to kick off your journey and put that on your resume. So there is some value in unpaid internships. That's something I actually, talk to students about quite a bit. And I think it's great that you've kind of touched on all those points and really for students who are struggling to land an internship right now, it can be hard. It can be really frustrating and emotional just to go through all the rejections that you can receive. But you're a perfect example that if you're persistent and you have the patience and you try all the right things, that it can pay off and you can kind of really develop quite a story for yourself. So I think that's really cool. What would you say, out of all your internship experience, what is an unexpected skill that you gained? And it could be one specific skill from just one internship, or it could be like broader over all your internship experience, a skill that you just didn't anticipate, that you would come out of all this with. What would you say is an unexpected skill you gained?
So I have two. And for the first one, we spoke about it, persistence. And I'll even mention this, just because you get a rejection from a company, you should always still, keep them in the back burner. Meaning don't be afraid to reach out again. Maybe after you develop some more marketable skills, have another internship, and then believe you have, more to bring to the table. Don't just get turned off right away just because you received that one rejection. There were many cases where I was receiving rejections from different companies whom I would then reach back out to a few months later, and then be able to get an internship with the company. So always have a plan and show that you're persistent. Don't give up just because someone says no. And the other skill that is really important is just the importance of diversification. So I mentioned that I was in the College of Communication, public relations major. I could have had 10 internships in PR, but I chose to really diversify my experience because I wanted to understand the entire scope of communication. So I focused in the internships in marketing, PR, advertising. I worked for financial firms. I worked for companies that have been around for 100+ years. I've worked for large companies. I've worked for small companies. I've worked for companies that have been around for 2 to 3 years and have maybe one other employee. Diversification is very important. It really gives you an opportunity to see different sides of a business, but then also just see different sides of an industry. And I do want to second that by also saying, if you feel like there's still more to learn in a set industry, it's okay to, stay there and really take the skills that you can. So for example, there were internships where I had public relations internships, and I decided on purpose to have, a PR internship be the next internship after that as well, because I felt there were certain skills that I still wanted to redefine and develop. But if you have a game plan, you're ready. You just need to have a game plan, have a specific strategy to how you want to see something, an industry. But once you have that plan, there's just so much freedom in seeing it. And that's what I really tried to do during my internships.
That's great. And I know those skills were obviously recognized by at least one of the companies, because after stalking your LinkedIn, I can tell that you're actually moving into a full-time role with Motorola Solutions, which is a company that you had an internship with. So they're converting you into that full-time role. And this is something I think you said you secured even 3 months or so prior to graduating and prior to the COVID-19 craziness, which puts you in such a good position compared to, I'm imagining, a lot of your peers who might have graduated and just been like, shoot, like I'm graduating in an economy that is in a not so great position right now. So I'd love to know, first, what are you going to be doing with Motorola Solutions? And second, how do you think your time with them and your internship really led to them presenting this offer to you? What was it that you did at the internship that really made them say, we need Landon on the team?
Of course. I was very fortunate to be in a place to, have my post-grad position secured. I'm really thankful to Motorola Solutions for that. And, I'm continuing to help my peers, the ones who, don't have post-grad positions secured, use different services. Use my network as well. Connecting a lot of my peers with different companies because, it is a very difficult time right now. But this is a time that we will get through. We will show resilience and, everything will work itself out. But with Motorola Solutions, yes, so I did intern for them last summer. It was an immediate culture fit. Everybody was so nice on different teams as well. I worked as an inside sales intern, but it was really a goal of mine to speak and connect with different teams at the company that's how I was able to, understand the functions of Motorola Solutions, the products of our portfolio. I spent majority of my time within sales, but again, I wanted to speak with different departments, marketing, finance, HR, to really understand, what they bring to the table and the value they bring to Motorola Solutions. So I was there last summer and developed some great, memories, some great mentors. And even towards the end, we had a pitch competition where they wanted to help bring exposure to Motorola Solutions in their post-grad positions. Because when a lot of people hear Motorola, they assume the Razor, the Motorola Razor, but a lot of people don't understand that there are two different companies. You got Motorola Mobility, they produce the Razor, and Motorola Solutions, which works directly in the public safety sector. We're there in the moments that matter. Dispatch centers, we make the radios, software, body cameras. So a lot of students my age, of course, associate Motorola Solutions with the phone. So for my group, we wanted to bring virtual reality into career fairs, where people could actually see the inside of our office. People could see the areas where our products bring value. So show them inside the dispatch center, or even have them, speak to our CEO, Greg Brown. So I think that virtual reality is a industry that I'm very excited for, and thought it would be perfect for Motorola Solutions. And my group and I, we ended up winning that pitch competition, and then the company also will be implementing that campaign when I assume things get better and school gets back into place. But it felt really good to be able to bring that value to the company, because value is a two-way street. You get so much from these companies. You get experience, you get skills, but you need to bring value back. Or you aren't able to bring anything to the table. So go above and beyond, do the jobs that no one wants to do, meet with everybody, different departments, learn the business, and you'll really be able to see and identify the value that you can bring, and the value that I'm hoping to bring also during my post-grad position.
That's great. And so much of what I talk to students about with the intern hustle and adding value and having those, I call them now, because everything's virtual coffee chats with employees to learn about different departments. And I just say congratulations again to you. I'm sure, the Motorola Solutions team is so lucky to have you. You already sound like a seasoned employee, the way that you talk about the company. So I'm sure they're thrilled to be bringing you onto the team.
Jenna, that means a lot.
Yeah. And I know that, on top of all of this, as if starting a new job right out of college isn't enough, you also decided to launch a podcast with another person as well. I know it's a team that you guys are doing it together. And the podcast is called In Their 20's. Can you tell me a little bit about what brought this podcast on and what your mission is for it?
Of course. So I partnered with one of my close friends, Michael Holmes, and we developed a web series called In Their 20's. And this was created because towards graduation, I was really reflecting on what I gained from my 10 internships. And yes, I gained so many skills, so many connections, but at heart, I'm a storyteller. This goes back to my passion for theater and directing and acting. I love hearing stories. I love sharing stories. And I noticed I was in such a unique place, as an intern at so many different companies, to hear from so many leaders, innovators, CEOs, founders, trendsetters about their journeys, not just about what they have accomplished today, because it's nice to hear about, how successful someone is today. But I really enjoy the stories where you can hear about what they did in their 20's. So maybe a risk that they took in their 20's, a mistake that they made in their 20's, something they would have done differently in their 20's. Because by me being in my 20's, being able to hear these stories, I can now map out my life a little better and know, okay, maybe I need to get involved in this industry, or I need to pick up this skill. Because you can really visualize and see, okay, what said person did, what they were able to create for themselves. So I understand that, not everybody's going to have opportunities to have so many internships. Speak with so many leaders. So I really want to be able to scale mentorship. We want to be able to offer these unique stories about what these successful and influential people did in their 20's, and share them with our peers, share them with students and young professionals who are now in their 20's, who can gain so much from hearing these stories. And it's been amazing. We're not just speaking with business leaders, we're speaking with various industries. We have one of the former coaches of the Chicago Bulls. We have one of 40 Black women who raised $1 million for her startup. We have one of the top urologists in the country. We have very, unique voices because we're both storytellers, and that's what we're doing within their 20s.
That's so great, and so cool to offer that perspective for people to tune in and learn from so many different people, like you said. And I will be sure to link that in the description below this video, so people can check out the podcast and all the great guests that you guys are going to have on. And Landon, you shared so much great information today, so much of your own great perspective, and you're just still so young in your journey. So thank you for all of that. I do like to wrap with a few questions with everybody, just some fun questions along the way. So the first one I have for you is, if you could go back to your freshman year of college, you're an incoming freshman, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself as an incoming college freshman?
As an incoming college freshman, so my experience is going to be very tied to Chicago, but I feel like this is pretty relevant to anybody moving to a new city. Get to know the city. Right when you get into when you get to moving into your new college town, especially in a city like Chicago, there is just so much beauty, so many different areas, districts. It's important to, just get out and explore, right away. This would have probably saved me in the future, so many mistakes with the train and trying to find different, companies for interviews and stuff, if I knew the area a little better. So, a lot of people want to stay close to campus right when they move, and I understand why. I mean, this is your first time you're away from home. You want to meet everybody, on campus, and I get that. But, find a group and, just explore the city, explore the area, get to know that. If you do it early, it's going to save you so much time trying to discover and explore later in your college career.
That's great advice. And this is just a question I'm throwing in for you off the cuff here, because Chicago and I grew up there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite deep dish pizza?
Illuminati's.
Oh, okay. I'm a Giordano's girl, so we're a little, but it's good. There's enough pizza love to go around in Chicago.
There is. There's a lot of great pizza, a lot of great food in the city. I mean, I just love Chicago. Just got back yesterday, and feels really good to be back. It's sunny right now, and I haven't had my deep dish pizza yet, so I'll probably do that today.
Yeah, get you some. So what is a favorite memory that you have from college?
There are so many amazing memories, that I don't want to waste too much time, breaking down each one. But if I were to kind of group them all together, I'd really be able to identify that most of my great memories were spent around, my close group of friends that I made in college, and just throughout the 4 years as well. I feel like a lot of people try and find their best friends for life, the few first weeks moving into college. And I'd say don't rush that process. You'll continue to make new friends, find new friends, but I'm very fortunate to have an amazing group of friends who I would do anything for. And I know that is a two-way street as well. I mean, that I can really expect a lot from them. I've learned so much from them as well. We really, share similar perspectives on a lot, especially in, the value of internships and working and, making something for yourself. So I really credit a lot of my early success and discovery to my group of friends.
That's wonderful. That's great. And sounds like DePaul was just a great place to make those connections overall. And like you said, they really encourage the internship experience there too, which I love to hear from a university. So that's great.
Yeah.
And the final question, I'll tee this one up for you a little bit because sometimes it throws people off, but I talk to students a lot about personal brand over at the Intern Hustle, and really how you can develop your personal brand, especially, early on in college and as you go. And it's really, presenting yourself for what you want to be known for. And I think that's a combination of skills and style and fun facts. And so I like to say that you can bring fun facts into the workplace. And so it's to me, I call a party trick your fun fact that you can kind of people know you for, and it crosses both personal and professional lines. And it's just really your glorified fun fact that you've become known for. So what would you say is your party trick?
Party trick. So I'd say this is more of a fun fact, less of a party trick because it's not something I do a lot because I'm busy with tens of other things I'm involved in right now. But I used to be a teen rapper. So I used to, so I have, gonna have to dig deep in iTunes and Spotify. But yeah, no, I used to be really involved in that. Started around third grade and did that, all throughout middle school, all throughout high school. And then it really shifted into me making music videos and producing for other people. But I love hip hop. I love rap. Favorite music genre. My dad, used to rap as well. When he was younger, and he's really into music production. has, a whole studio and stuff built out. So I mean, yeah, that was always a nice, bonding experience for the two of us,
Yeah.
and something to do. But yeah, I mean, I can always, freestyle every now and then. Probably not going to be doing so much of that at Motorola Solutions, but it's still in there.
Hey, never say never. I was actually going to say you can very easily bring that into work, because it's one of those things where actually my last company, we had a girl who was really good at writing raps, and
Uh-huh.
she would do it for people's birthdays at like company all hands meetings. And it was funny because it incorporated work culture that like, you all have your inside jokes by then and your acronyms that you use in the workplace. And then also something personal about this person, because we all got to know each other really well. So I think you might be onto something with that. You could bring it into the workplace and officially make it the party trick that you're
And
known
bring
for.
it back. I mean, I might have to. I mean, at the root of it, rap is storytelling, and something that again is a
Yeah,
huge part of
definitely.
me. So I mean, we'll see. I'll
Yeah.
keep you
Well,
updated about
keep
that.
me posted. Yeah. Let me know.
Yeah.
Well, Landon, thank you so much for talking to me today. If people want to stay in the loop on what you're up to, learn more about the podcast In Their 20s and all of those sorts of things, where can they find you?
Of course. So we are across platforms: Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify. In their 20s, apostrophe s. But then for our website, we are www.intheir20s.com. No apostrophe s. Again, that's intheir20s.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Jenna, this was a pleasure. Really love what you're doing, and just thank you so much. I mean, this is really important work that you're involved in. You're really, again, you're sharing stories that students need to hear. So really appreciate it. I wish I knew about the intern hustle when I was a freshman. It would have really probably saved me a lot of time searching for internships. So again, considering times as well, I mean, what's going on, all the adjustments that students have had to make. I really know for a fact students will continue to find value from the intern hustle, and hope that students, continue to find out about what you're doing.
Thanks for saying that. Thank you for your
Of
support.
course, of course.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Jenna.